All right. Welcome to my vlog. I'm looking up because I finally figured out how to mirror my phone screen. So I'm using my back camera because I really don't like using my front camera to vlog. But I'm using my back camera and then mirroring it to my laptop. So I have it as like a viewfinder, and I feel so like YouTuber professional right now. So I'm tech savvy. No, I'm just on TikTok. So literally just go into your control center, not your notification center, your control center, and you'll see like little you'll see like a rectangle and another rectangle, and that's screen monitoring. And my TV even showed up. I was like, oh, that's cool, because I actually had bought a dongle to screenplay like YouTube, because I just using the YouTube app on like Xfinity is like so annoying. Like, I don't know, using YouTube through a TV YouTube app is annoying, but like just pulling it up on my phone or my laptop and hooking it up to the TV is much better. So anyway, now that I've burned 2 minutes talking about nonsense, I just figured I would like check in with myself, because my New Year resolution is to, how do I explain it? I don't want resolutions or goals. I just want action. I just want to do things. I just want to actually complete my goals. I don't know, because like I do have resolutions, and I don't really feel like at the end of the year I really failed at anything. I think in terms of music and like being a creator, that's where I'm like, I feel like I'm missing out. Like I'm seeing like people who I don't want to say don't do as much, not that I'm better than anybody, but like I see creators create so much and achieve so much success with like less like creative labor, if that makes sense. I don't know. I hope I'm not coming off as entitled or like that's not real art, because that's not what I'm trying to say, but I'm just hoping you get the vibe. I'm just like, this literally is not what I'm trying to do, and I don't get it. So I guess my resolution to myself is to just keep letting go of that fear. I feel like I've done a really good job in the past year of just like being myself on social media, and like if people don't like you, if people unfollow you, if people are just like, oh, she's gonna cringe, then so be it. So I hope anyone who's watching this can also feel inspired to just like be yourself, because like I don't know, I'm not like hurting anybody, I'm not harming anybody, I'm not spreading hate, I'm not trying to like bring anybody down. And me posting a couple reels and some music and some dances, I really don't feel like that should bother anybody. For a second I thought I thought someone was listening. Maybe someone is. It's whatever. Again, letting go of that fear. So checking in outside of YouTube, um the past 3 months have just been so so annoying. Like that insurance claim, I have insurance that they denied the house claim, and it's just really been weighing, and I feel like a huge weight is going to be lifted. So I'm in the process of appealing. I reached out to a public adjuster, never like reached out back. I'm like, okay, like I didn't really give that much info on my claim, so I'm like, it's hard to believe that they would just like not respond. So I'm just like, whatever, like can I really fight it myself? But yeah, insurance companies just really baffle me at how they will make policies like the reason you get home insurance and then exclude certain things that they know is going to happen a lot. I'm just like, okay, like I get it, it's legal, I get it, they can't be paying money because you know a business is going to lose money, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't really want to get into it too much, because honestly, it's been really stressful. Um, I'm trying to think what else. Like I've lost sleep over it. It's been really emotionally draining, and I don't really have the fight that I had back in college when I was like advocating for students. So I'm just like, you know what? Like, you know, we have home insurance. You said it was covered. All I'm gonna say is like they said it was covered, and then all of a sudden they were like, no, it's not covered, after reviewing, even though nothing really changed. So I'm just like, whatever. So again, I'm biased. I think that we're perfectly right. So enough of that. But yeah, that's just been something that's heavily been weighing. And then on top of that, the repairs. But luckily everything's fixed now. And, I think one thing that really came out of it is like learning how to DIY things. DIYing is not the reason why this happened. But I got to learn how, well, not got to, but I've definitely been mindful about like what I'm paying someone to do versus something that I can do myself. Obviously, I'm not going to try and like build a whole house by myself with no experience, but I'm trying to think what I did. Things that require like simple drilling. Um, I'm trying to think. I fix like drafts, like installing, I'm putting like draft stoppers in the door. I set up a um we realized we had squirrels and stuff running in our walls, separate from our insurance claim, and the exterminator is really expensive. So I was like, okay, like let me look this up, like let me see how I can lure these things out. So I actually like installed net and a one-way door on the house. So that was fun. I haven't heard anything, knock on wood. I haven't heard anything since. So I'm hoping it's doing a good job, but I don't know. They really have been chewing through whatever these things are, just really gnawing at this. I wish I had the piece of siding. Like I put siding back and there was like a hole through it. Like not even a few weeks later. So, and it's funny because I heard something and I was like, oh, it's probably it was really cold, so I assumed it was the water because it froze. Downstairs gets really cold, so I thought it was like the water coming back. Like I don't know if you know like the sound of like water, like a toilet. I don't know, like having trouble flushing. I don't know what I heard, but I was just like, it just sounded indoor for something that was outdoor. But now I realize, oh, like it's probably the freaking squirrel chewing through the siding. So much has been going on. And then you want to know what else? On top of insurance, on top of repairs, although I will say DIYing is fun and I can't wait to do some DIY with like building like storage units like for shoes and closets. So I'm excited for that. So, there was a silver lining, but I don't wish the stress of like home repairs on anybody. But I don't know, I'm just like, I've rented and I did not like my experience renting. I had an excellent roommate. I had a great roommate, just the actual property manager. And if you're watching this, I was such a good tenant. I left that unit so much better than how I got it. But that's a whole other video. But on top of all that, buying a car in this market is I have an excellent salesperson I'm working with, but the actual market, like in general, is just not good. So what was I doing? So I went to a dealer. I want to use brand names, but like let me not. So I went to this dealer and I literally, like, I walked out. Not like I walked out, but like my mom was with me and she was like, mm-mm. It's like BFFR. So we walked into a dealer. We have an appointment and I set this appointment like a few days in advance. Like I'm texting like the salesperson I was assigned. So we come in, they have us wait like nearly half an hour. I'm pretty sure it was half an hour or it was like getting close to half an hour. So I was like, okay, but like they said, oh, they're with somebody else. And I'm like, great. Like, can you, like, I see like salespeople like just sitting at their desk, not saying that they're not busy, but I was just like, I don't know. I just found it really awkward. Like, it was busy there, but I was just like, I don't know, like, why did I make an appointment? Like, I could have just walked in, if that makes sense, But I'm just like, you know what? Be patient. Like, it's whatever. So then I wanted a hybrid, or I want a hybrid because I still don't have the car. But I was like, okay, like I am leaning towards buying, but like if you have lease deals, it was the end of the year. So this is December that I went, December 22. And they didn't have the car because these hybrid, like people with gas prices, they actually want hybrids. I didn't think that people want hybrids because I've been seeing like, oh, hybrids are this and that. And I'm like, I don't want to pay for a lot of gas. I'd rather pay for electricity. So they didn't have the hybrid. They were like, oh, like we need to test drive, or like you need to test drive before we can discuss. And I was like, I understand, like they want you to actually like the car. And I was like, well, I'm not going to test drive. Like I was like, numbers, like give me numbers on like monthly payment, because even though you quote online, every time I'm going to quote from like a car make, the dealership always has like higher prices. Like it'll be like, I don't know, $300 a month payment, like let's say lease or purchase. So it'll say like, here's your estimate, and like even though with like 2,000 down or 3,000 down, it'll say $300, and or say it'll be $300 a month, and I'm like, okay. So then you go to the dealership, it's 4 or 5. So I was like, I need to know the numbers, because I haven't gotten numbers, and like it's been days, and I said I wanted the numbers. So they were like, oh well, we're gonna run the numbers while you're there. So the fact that they didn't have the numbers, I was like, and then so that was like, my mom was frustrated that we were waiting. She was like, we made an appointment, like let's go. So those two things were already like, my mom was like not having it. So then finally, so he's like, so I said I wasn't going to test drive the car because it wasn't a hybrid. And I know like people are going to be like, oh, like it's the same thing. But I'm just like, I want to like know, I wanted to test out like the EV mode. Like there are going to be little differences. I don't know. Like my mom was also like, no, just test drive the hybrid. There's no point in test driving. I don't know what you guys think, but like I just rather test drive the hybrid vehicle. So then he was like, oh, we don't like, I knew this, like my my mom was like, no, we're leaving. As soon as he said this, it was over. But he was like, oh, we don't he basically was like, you have to test drive the car before you can like move anything. And this is like, we're not even sitting down at a table. Like I actually went up because we were actually on our way out to leave, and then our salesperson was there, and he was like, oh, like are you this? I was like, oh, okay. I was about to say I'm gonna leave and reschedule. So then he was like, oh, like basically like stonewall, like we need to test drive the car. So then my mom was like, nah, we'll leave. So then he was like, oh, like we have something coming in a couple weeks, which I realize it's been like over a month later. Never contacted, no follow-up. Every other dealership has followed up regardless if they have a car a lot or not. So I was just like, you know what, this make wasn't even a make that I wanted to get. So I was like, it's a sign. But other than that, the car that I do want to get, I don't want to give makes, because that's another thing. I don't really like, a lot of people want to share, and like I don't know if this is like, I'm Gen Z, and like I had those what's it called, presentations in like middle school and high school, like don't give out any private info, and like people just be like my channel doesn't even have my full name, and like people like influencers now be using their like full name. Like you can find their LinkedIn, you can find their home. I was like, where's the security? Like, so that's why I'm like withholding information, while also trying to be open. So anyway, so I put a car on hold, and then I ended up not liking the car for how much of a price increase it would be, because I wanted a plug-in. So pro tip, I feel like I'm covering, so it's been like not even 15 minutes, and I feel like I covered so many bases. A plug-in hybrid is not the same as a hybrid. Did I know that? No. Like people are like, oh, like I remember telling my friends that they're like, oh, I always knew. I was like, I didn't know that, because I also haven't been shopping for a car. I don't know. I just always thought that like hybrids, like anytime I've seen a hybrid commercial, they always talk about like electric mode, and like I always see somebody like plugging it in. So I don't know. I had no reason to believe that like regular hybrids like charge through gas. I don't know. I think regular hybrids, like I feel like that's pointless. Like why? What's the whole point of having a hybrid? Like I don't, maybe there is a point, but I don't understand the whole point of like, oh, it has to have gas to charge. Like I always think that a hybrid should independently charge. Like, is the electricity going to also fuel the gas? No. So like why? I don't get it. It just feels like I don't know, it's a scam. I honestly think it's just a way to like get more money from people. I'm just like, okay, so I have to use gas. I'd rather have a plug-in where you can use the battery as much as you can. You can literally have a full tank for years and years if you only use the electricity within the range, of course. So, or you just always have EV mode on. So, and also tax credit. I'm always trying to maximize my dollars. So that was a whole thing. So it's been a 2-month process. Then the loan, I'm so mad. Like I did a hard inquiry on my credit. It did not knock me down, but if I were to do another one, because they're like within a short time, it's going to knock down my credit. And like, basically, like, I didn't know this when applying. I did call ahead and they were like, oh yeah, you just do this. And then they're not making any exceptions because of the supply chain issue. So if I get approved, like I did it December, so if I get approved, I have basically a month to get a car. And like, people are waiting 6 months, 3 to 6 months for a new car. I could get a used car, but I literally saw a car on a lot because I did test drive a few used ones. We actually saw the MSRP from the year. So this was a 2021 car. So 2021 cars were released in 2020, I'm assuming. I know that was the year of the 2020. So I don't know if that was affected too, but late 2020, early 2021, it was like 24,100, so 24,100. This car was selling for 28,000 after it didn't have 50,000. It had less than 50,000. Like, it had very low miles. I don't want to say the exact because I'm not trying to like call out anybody, but it had less than 51,000. It was a really good car. Like, I literally was so sold on the car, but I'm like, I'm not paying. Even if I didn't know that the like MSRP the year was released was 24,000, like 28,000 for a used car. That's a sedan. It was hybrid, but like, no. I was like, mm-mm. So, I have been checking on the car and now it's 26,500. So I don't know. I'm still looking out. I don't think that car is worth 22,000. Like, I wouldn't even, because the car that I'm looking at, and that's not even all-wheel drive. I should even mention that, if that means anything to some of you, because I want a hybrid all-wheel drive, which is a lot of money for somebody who doesn't make money off YouTube and doesn't make 6 figures. So, did I cover everything? I'm trying to think what I covered. Oh, and guess what? I'm also trying to build a PC. See, I'm just covering like so many months worth of like stuff here. So I'm working with somebody to build a computer. Do I have the money for it? No. And also, I feel like that's it. Like, yeah, the computer build, I will do a vlog on that on this channel, and you're gonna see it on my streaming channel. So I'm so excited for when I finally build a computer. And I'll be able to churn out YouTube videos a lot faster. Right now I'm using an 8-year-old MacBook Pro that is going to literally crash any second. It is wheezing when I'm on DaVinci. And I plug it into a monitor because the screen is smashed because my phone fell on it. That's a whole other story, but yeah. Good things in 2023. Hopefully, you know what? I'm not going to say hopefully. I am going to build a computer this year. Like, it's going to happen. I'm just going to say it's going to happen and then hold myself accountable because I already said it's going to happen. What was the other thing? Build a computer. I forgot what I was going to say. Okay, cars. Oh yeah, I'm going to get a car and I'm not going to pay these outlandish prices. Like, I'm sorry, like, the car industry, we should just have and literally, like, this would be solved if we have public transportation. I'm a public transportation person. It's so cheap. Like, I don't know why, like, people act like they're so, like, above public transportation. Like, literally, it's a 20-minute ride. Like, you're gonna sit in a car, you're gonna pay $20 to sit in a car in traffic, or you could spend $3 on the subway and you get there faster. Like, make it make sense. What else was I gonna say? This, all right, I'm getting 20 minutes. So yeah, that's this vlog, just checking in my resolution this year, or my goal, what I'm going to do. You know, I'm not going to make it a goal. It's going to be done. Start my streaming channel, just literally just do whatever, like obviously financially responsible. But yeah, I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to maximize the resources that I have, because like I'm complaining about things, but I'm also trying to be like, okay, there's so many things that you're not thinking about that you're taking for granted. So I'm also like, be grateful, and just, obviously recognize that dissonance or cognitive dissonance between where you are and what you want, but also be grateful. So those are my lessons. This insurance thing is gonna, I'm trying to like remember, this insurance thing is gonna pan out, and if it doesn't, then oh well, take the L. You gotta learn to live with things that don't go your way. This car thing, I'm gonna be a little bit more salty about this car thing, to be honest, because it is just so much money, such an investment, and yeah, I'm just like, I really don't want to pay so much money. I'm like, why? That's another thing, this economy. I love seeing all like the conspiracy theories, like, oh, like they're draining us, they want us to be poor. And I'm like, you know what? Do I believe that? I believe they are just passing on the expense to us as a consumer so they don't dip into their profits. But I don't know. I'm not an expert. Anyway, so that concludes the end of this vlog. And I'm really excited to see this in a year. I think this is going to be really interesting, and maybe in a few years I'll react to this. So yeah, I can't wait to hear what I will say looking back. And yep, I don't know how to finish this. Bye.